Has a word of encouragement, a look of understanding at just the right moment, ever changed the course of your life? Have you had someone who believed in your potential when the whole world seemed to turn its back on you, planting a seed of hope that blossomed against all odds? Share with us, from wherever you are, if a teacher or mentor left an indelible mark on your heart. Today's story is a journey through time, a ballet of emotions that tells us of fragile dreams, painful humiliations, and the tireless search for gratitude that transcends the years. In a labyrinthine hutong in Beijing, where the sun barely filtered through the tightly packed gray rooftops and the aroma of street food mingled with the murmur of 1,000 lives, Li Jing grew up. Her childhood was marked by poverty, a constant shadow that clung to her family like dust to rickety furniture. But in Li Jing's heart, despite the hardships, an unquenchable flame burned. A passion for dance born one afternoon when she saw ethereal ballerinas seeming to float across the stage on an old community television. From that moment on, every corner of her humble home became her makeshift studio, every puddle in the street, a mirror in which to rehearse her clumsy yet heartfelt movements. She dreamed of point shoes and gossamer tutus, a world as distant from her mended clothes and worn-out shoes as the moon from the earth. Can a dream survive in the most arid terrain, nourished only by the strength of a child's longing? With immense sacrifices from her mother, who worked washing clothes until her hands bled, Li Jing managed to get into a modest neighborhood dance academy. But what should have been the first step toward her dream soon became a source of painful humiliations. Her classmates, daughters of well-off families, looked at her with disdain. Her canvas slippers, darned 1,000 times over, were the subject of cruel mockery. "Ballet's Cinderella," they'd whisper amidst stifled giggles. "Are you expecting a prince to give you glass slippers?" Every criticism, every look of superiority, was a thorn that pierced her young heart. Even some teachers, more concerned with fees and prestige than genuine talent, sidelined her, suggesting that perhaps dance wasn't for everyone. Little Li Jing, with her small frame and sad eyes, began to believe her background was an indelible stain, an insurmountable barrier. Have you ever felt belittled by circumstances beyond your control? How does that affect a child's dreams? It was then that Master Wen appeared. A middle-aged man, with a serene gaze that seemed to see beyond appearances and a kind smile that rarely graced his face. But when it did, it lit up the room. He was a different kind of teacher, one who valued passion over pedigree, expression over empty technical perfection. While others ignored her, Master Wen saw in Li Jing a diamond in the rough, a Li Jing, a crystal whose inner brilliance struggled to emerge. He saw the iron discipline in her solitary rehearsals, the innate grace in her movements, the pure emotion she conveyed when dancing, even with an empty stomach and a wounded soul. He became her beacon in the storm. "Don't listen to the outside noise, little crystal," he would tell her quietly after class, discreetly offering her a pair of used slippers in better condition than hers. "Listen to the music within you. That is your truth, that is your strength." He defended her from the teasing, offered her extra classes free of charge, polishing her technique, nurturing her spirit. For the first time, Li Jing felt that someone believed in her unconditionally. Under Master Wen's tutelage, Li Jing began to flourish. Her confidence grew, her technique refined, and the fire of her passion burned more intensely than ever. She was no longer just the poor girl. She was Li Jing, the dancer with exceptional talent, the protégé of the enigmatic Master Wen. It seemed that, at last, her luck had changed. But fate often has unexpected and sometimes cruel twists. One morning, Li Jing arrived at the academy, and Master Wen wasn't there. Not that day, nor the next, nor ever again. He disappeared without a trace, without a word of farewell, as if the earth had swallowed him whole. The academy directors offered vague explanations. Personal matters, a sudden transfer. But for Li Jing, the void he left was immense, a wound as deep as the humiliation she had suffered. Why had the only one who truly believed in her left like that? Had they forced him to leave for defending her? 1,000 unanswered questions tormented her nights. The years that followed were a trial by fire. Without Master Wen's protection, the difficulties intensified. But his memory, his words of encouragement, became the engine that drove her. "Listen to the music within you," echoed in her mind whenever discouragement threatened to overcome her. She clung to dance with the tenacity of someone clinging to a raft in the middle of the ocean. She worked tirelessly, secured scholarships, endured more hardships, but never gave up. And her talent, that crystal master one had seen, finally led her to the grand stages of China and the world. Li Jing became an acclaimed prima ballerina, her name synonymous with grace, strength, and an emotional depth that moved audiences to tears. She had conquered her dream, but a piece was still missing from the puzzle of her happiness: to find Master One, to thank him, to understand why he had left. Now, at the pinnacle of her career, with resources and contacts she could once only dream of, Li Jing undertook a systematic search for the man who had changed the course of her life. She hired investigators, traveled to distant cities following faint leads, visited old academies, spoke with former colleagues. Every closed door, every false lead, was a pang of frustration, but she didn't give up. The search was her way of honoring him, of closing a circle. What drives someone to search so tenaciously for a person from the past? Is it just gratitude or a deeper need for connection and closure? The mystery of Master Wen's disappearance haunted her. Some said he had had problems with the Academy's administration because of his unconventional methods, or for defending problematic students like her. Others whispered he had left for a remote province, disillusioned with the commercialism of art in the big cities. Every fragment of information, however small, fueled her hope. The cultural connection, the deep respect for the figure of the Laoshi teacher, who had instilled in her values beyond technique, drove her on. She felt that her Yuanfen, her destined connection with him, could not have ended so abruptly. The investigation finally led her to a small coastal town, forgotten by progress, where it was said an elderly master of calligraphy and music lived in retirement, a man who fit Master Wen's description. With her heart pounding a mile a minute, Li Jing arrived at a modest little house facing the sea, surrounded by a neglected but charming garden. She knocked, and an elderly man with white hair and a calm gaze, very similar to the one she remembered, though etched with many more wrinkles, opened the door. It was him, Master Wen. The reunion was a whirlwind of restrained emotions, more eloquent in the silences and gazes than in words. Tears streamed down Li Jing's cheeks as she tried to express years of accumulated gratitude. Master Wen listened with a faint smile, the same one she remembered. He didn't seem surprised to see her. He had followed her career from a distance, with quiet pride. He explained that he had left the academy because he could no longer be part of a system that valued money more than talent and passion. He had retired to that town to live a simple life, teaching the local children a love for art, far from the pressures and vanities of the world. "Little Crystal," he said with the same warmth as before, "I knew you would shine. Your light was too intense to be dimmed. I only helped you dust yourself off a bit." Li Jing discovered that Master Wen had never forgotten her. He kept newspaper clippings of her performances, and in a small box, a pair of very worn children's ballet slippers. "I always knew that true art is born from the heart, not the wallet," he affirmed. There was no resentment, only the peace of one who has lived according to his principles. The catharsis for Li Jing was immense. Finding her teacher, understanding his departure, and being able to express her gratitude filled the void she had felt for so long. She stayed in the village for a few days, sharing stories, reminiscing about the past, and watching Master Wen continue to inspire new generations, this time with calligraphy and traditional music. Before leaving, Li Jing made a generous anonymous donation to improve the small village school and ensure Master Wen had everything he needed. He wanted nothing for himself, but he accepted the help for his new students. Li Jing returned to the stage with a new sense of purpose. The search had ended, but Master Wen's legacy lived on in her art, and now, in her desire to help other young talents from humble beginnings, just as he had helped her. The end of this story is not just a reunion, but a confirmation that one person's faith in another can have a transformative and lasting impact, a melody that resonates through the years. Hope and inspiration lie in that silent power of mentorship, in the certainty that a generous heart can light countless lights in the world. Is there someone in your life you would like to thank today for believing in you?